Hey, good afternoon and welcome to Tech Talk. We're going to talk about some really cool and interesting things on this half hour. Everything from Bitcoin to maybe home security and all kinds of new and different things that are coming out in the tech world. With me is Dwayne Rigsby and Kingsley Meyer. And we're just going to get at it.
Let's start. Yeah.
So I guess we want to start at Bitcoin.
How did we come up with that?
How did we come up with Bitcoin, or what was the discussion that brought it up, I guess? That might be the better thing.
You got yourself into it, and we held you to the whole discussion of it.
So there is a little
Backstory?
Not antivirus. Yeah, backstory, I guess, is, there's viruses out there now that will encrypt your machine and keep it nice and safe
Hold it hostage.
Hold it hostage, yeah. It keeps it nice and safe for you, and that's what the little note says, ransomware, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it says for 1 Bitcoin, it will send you the encryption key to unencrypt it. So therefore, you have to pay someone to get your data back.
And I guess this computer was valuable enough and not backed up anywhere that...
There's been people that they say, yes, we want it back.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, you pay the ransom, or you just say, I'm going to fix your machine. Mm-hmm. And they don't know anything about it.
Cut them a check and then cancel it.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Well,
I'm an old-fashioned kind of guy.
Unfortunately, you can't quite do that, but yeah. So what is a Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a bit like stocks, if you would, but you can't buy into them. You can't buy shares of a Bitcoin. A Bitcoin is a new currency, if you would, that's really accepted across the world in variety of stores or locations or things like that.
Could I go to the bank and exchange dollars for Bitcoin like I would dollars for francs or pounds?
Not every bank accepts Bitcoins. You would have to find the correct bank. Mm-hmm. You would. I'm going to say it's new, but not new. It's been around since 2009. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of different ways that you can get Bitcoins. You can buy Bitcoins from somebody. You can buy Bitcoins from the exchange. You can mine Bitcoins. And when you mine Bitcoins, it's a little different process now. Early on, it was something that you could do from your computer, and now you really
I don't have to have slaves to mine these things?
No, you just have to know math. Think of it that way.
Okay.
So it's kind of a math
A
problem.
good GPU.
Yeah. So, but nowadays you can't really do any mining with your PC that you have. You really have to buy into what's called a pool now of a group of miners, if you would, a big server. Housing big servers that'll mine these things, and then it pays you a portion of it each time that it recovers coins or does things.
So I mean, who came up with this? I mean, it sounds like,
well, that's a good question.
There's a little bit of math and cyber engineering behind it, but what was the reason? Was that so that people could buy illicit drugs and transfer sex slaves in a black market, and they were paying on the sly, or was it all above
Was
board?
it anonymous?
Yeah.
I think it's not necessarily they didn't intend for it to buy the drugs and things like that, but they intended for it to get rid of the middlemen, or middle people, I should say.
Not the tracking?
Not tracking. There's
It gets tracked.
It gets tracked, but it's tracked. I'm not anonymously, but they say that every exchange goes to a big book, if you want to call it, a big ledger. Mm-hmm. So every exchange is happening in this public ledger, but your exchange is anonymous, meaning that I can buy something from you and you don't know who I am. Not necessarily, unlike a credit card, you don't know names and addresses. All I'm doing is giving you what's called a public key, and I hold my private key. So it's sort of like encrypting a file in a way. Mm-hmm. There's two parts of it, a public key and a private key. So if I encrypt a file and I send it to Kingsley, he can't open it until I give him the public key or the shared key. Everybody calls them different things. And then when he puts that key in, if it matches, the file opens. But if it doesn't,
And that deposits the money into his account.
right, once it says, "Oh, I'm good," then the keys or the Bitcoin is
the file
transferred.
and then it becomes cash, kind of.
Doesn't sound like the sort of thing I should gift my father-in-law
Oh,
Probably not.
and install on his iPad Mini.
Probably not. Probably not.
Because he would love to be able to purchase goods and services,
Yeah,
and I could transfer Bitcoins.
you can transfer.
So I could place this encrypted amount
Yep.
into his wallet,
Yep. You have
and,
to have
and
a
he
wallet.
and he could accept it, and well, that sounds really good, you know, and I could transfer money internationally
To
to
different
people that are
people.
overseas without paying a transfer amount or a service fee.
A service fee, right? And that what I think is originally the way it wanted to be started is to get rid of all the extra fees and processes that it takes to pay somebody or get paid.
Right, because
If you
there's,
would.
like I said in the beginning, converting dollars to francs and pounds and euros, it takes
Exchange rates.
Yeah.
It
Exchange
takes a
rates,
service to do that, and they
Yeah.
skim a little bit of that off too.
Right.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use those 20 Wells Fargo accounts that are on my credit
Yeah,
card.
there you go.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to buy some Bitcoins with each one.
buy
of them.
buy some Bitcoins with those. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
And you know that's the next thing is it's really hard to buy a Bitcoin. You just can't buy a Bitcoin. It's in some cases you're limited to the amount that you can buy Bitcoins.
And that's not. There's no physical Bitcoin, but that's what they
Right.
like, show as
Yeah.
a Bitcoin.
Somebody actually
Decentralized, peer-to-peer, digital.
digital. Yeah.
You know, I think the words around the outside there are pretty telling. It's not for the faint of heart. And,
Right, it's not.
And studying up for today, because I always try to do a little bit of study.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's amazing how much is written about it.
There is.
But if you really want to master it from one of these sites, you're going to go out and you're going to buy a $300 or $400 book so that you know all the details.
You want to be able to
And
understand it.
so why hasn't the big banks bought into it so they can make some money on it?
Well, I think again the biggest thing is that peer-to-peer. They lose
We don't
the.
need the big banks.
You don't need them. The big banks now, I'm going to say that people are now looking at it as in they're buying up the Bitcoins and then you have to buy them from them.
That's what one of my questions was.
So
is
instead of being a middle person, they're now the primary, if you would, in a lot of ways.
If we had
can
a
I use Bitcoin
financial-
on a phone?
You can. You can buy and sell through your wallet, okay? Just like now they have the Apple iPay and all these,
Yep.
and all of those. There's a wallet that goes on your phone, and you can exchange and buy just right here.
So
the same way.
what's today's rate of a Bitcoin? I imagine it goes up and down like a stock ticker.
It does. It goes up and down. And as of this morning, when I looked at it, one Bitcoin was $595.49.
Came down this afternoon, by
Yeah.
the way.
Did it come down? Well, yeah. And it does. It fluctuates up and down. The one time I was looking into
But
getting a Bitcoin.
that's an awful lot of tacos.
It is for one. But the weird thing about it is that you can buy pieces of a Bitcoin.
Okay.
You don't have to buy one Bitcoin. You can buy, I believe, down to 1/10 of a Bitcoin.
That's still a lot of tacos.
Yeah, that's still a lot of tacos. I'll agree. Yes, but you can buy 1/10 of a Bitcoin.
Okay.
So you can buy pieces, and then the weird thing is what I find is you can have it also stolen from you as well. So in this hacked in a way in this transaction, the way it transfers is like pieces of a Bitcoin at a time. Say I'm transferring one Bitcoin to you in services of fixing a computer or something, and I said, okay, I put it in your wallet, electronic wallet, because you give me that shared key. Okay, it opened up and it starts sending. Well, it sends, think of it like an FTP server. Go back to that, how it sends bits up at a time.
File
Or
transfer.
file
process.
I was
transfer.
thinking more like a one-armed bandit where it pays out. Ding, ding, ding,
Ding,
ding,
ding,
ding.
yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, in a way, yeah. So it does that, little pieces at a time. Well, once it's done, I can, or not done, as long as I have a piece of it, I can stop it. And I can bring it all back to me.
You can bring it all
Sounds
back.
like a flaw.
I can bring it all back to me.
Sounds like a flaw.
It does sound like a flaw. So that way so you want to be there and say, okay, I now have it all. I'm good. And then you can basically
Lock it up?
Lock it back up. It's yours now. So
Yeah, my question was, everybody kind of worries about this financial collapse.
Mm-hmm.
Is that immune? That maybe not something you could answer, but
it's a good question. Is it immune? It's a different set of currency completely.
that's what I mean.
Just like when we crashed few years ago,
08.
it never did. It stayed there.
So when the EMP hits,
Oh,
They're gone.
then you're messed up.
Yeah, you're kind of.
because I would
You better
rather
have-
I'd rather have something in
better
your
have
mattress or.
Yeah.
Gold or some
You'd rather have
ammo
some coins right in your hand. Yeah.
And this is Tech Talk, so electromagnetic pulse (EMP) is
EMP.
a rather high energy wave that might come from everything from a solar storm or from some sort of
Nuclear
manned
blast.
device. But
Oh, we don't want that.
we're not going to
Wow.
talk about that
Yeah,
today.
That's bad.
To me, it's fascinating because I know, some people say, well, I'm not paying my bills, or I'm writing a check and the check represents money. And then it went to PayPal, so there's somebody that's transferring some money into a different kind of virtual account
Virtual account.
that you can use for electronic shopping. Now we have an internationally, digitally traded, peer-to-peer, ether-based type of currency.
Yep.
And it's based upon mathematical algorithms that determine what traffic is going through the exchanges and what its value is.
Yeah.
Try explaining that to my father-in-law.
Can I buy farm implements for my Farmville with Bitcoin?
Linden
Now there's,
coins.
there's a
Linden
lot of
coins, yeah.
nothings for buying nothing.
Yeah, nothing for nothing. Yeah, but there is some stores out there now. I just looked up and Overstock, Dell, some of these other vendors are now accepting Bitcoins, and there is actually a gas station in a town somewhat nearby that accepts Bitcoins
In tenth of a coin increments.
in tenth of a coin
Which would be
increments.
like
Yeah.
$80 about this point.
Yeah,
As long as you're not in Nashville, who doesn't have any gas.
Yeah.
right, with the little leak. Small leak, I would say.
How convenient when they're trying to put a pipeline across some Indian territory.
Yeah.
For the faint
Don't
of
worry about it. Oops.
for the faint of heart, these things that are just a little bit too much for the mind.
Yeah.
I think there is some concern and worry because
There
because
is.
if you're not able to understand it from an abstract sense, then being able to master it and have it work for you is asking for an awful lot of
Yeah, it is, but it sure would eliminate a lot of the extra fees that we wouldn't have to pay just for these simple
Right.
transactions.
would
It's just like if I bought something from you and I used a credit card and you used the little square or paper or those things, we would not have those extra fees, other than me writing a check to you.
Like
That
when I
would be,
sell something on eBay, eBay's going to get a percentage.
Right. eBay gets a percentage, PayPal,
And then
all
PayPal
these.
got another big
Everybody gets,
percent.
yeah.
But I'm not going to get my 401k contributions
Probably not.
into Bitcoin. And my pension isn't going to pay into Bitcoin. And Social Security is not going to go into Bitcoin because I feel that that's more comfortable and more secure. And really, it's not federally insured, internationally insured.
Right.
So what's to stop the exchanges from collapsing and the whole thing tumbling down? Is it really money? there's no gold exchange, there's no silver exchange.
Right.
It's a cyber exchange.
It's a cyber exchange.
It doesn't
And
really exist.
It could
doesn't-
crash
you're
as
right.
much as the
don't-
regular economy.
I don't think it exists.
What I think in some cases I agree.
Because the person that
That it
came up
doesn't.
with it said, this is a real cool idea.
Yeah.
I'll be the first investor. I'll dream this up. I'll cash myself out for a couple billion, and then I'll sit back and laugh all the way to the cyberbank.
It sure makes sense to what you're describing. It's almost like the person that buried the gold or something out west, and it's a hunt for it. Who knows? Does it exist? Who knows? Maybe.
It's a wild, wild, wild world. I
yeah.
saw that one. They bury some money.
Yeah, it is. But there's enough people out there that is investing in this stuff and keep going. I don't think it'll drop completely. I think it'll be there,
Always have
and
an
it'll
audience.
just hang around, and for the next 20 years or so, and maybe all of a sudden, boom.
Is there another one coming along the line?
I don't know. Good question.
Okay. I think there's something called ether something. Or other.
Yeah. But I don't think it's not out there.
Who knows? Who
to
knows?
any degree of it.
They're probably still figuring out.
Yeah.
Hey, let's
Move on to the next one.
let's move on to something real cool or real scary.
Yeah.
Both. I'll agree
Okay.
with both.
Yeah, something about the Internet of Things, which is how everything is connected to everything else.
You know,
Yeah.
they ran out of internet numbers, the numbers that they used to assign to devices that connected to the network of networks. And they had to come up with a new way of numbering things. So they went to a larger scale, which is IPv6. More numbers than grains of sand in the world. So every cell in your body could have one, really. But does that mean that everything should be connected? That we should have radio waves on everything and everything is programmable and stuff? Because before the show, we were talking about, talking to your dog.
Right here.
His name?
Buddha.
Buddha. And, Buddha's, asleep on the couch and,
Yep.
hasn't gotten a thing done all day.
No, he likes to sleep.
But they have some people that are very concerned about the security of the Internet of Things. And, I think we all kind of take our roles. You're the first one to jump forward and start buying stuff and trying it out. And I kind of like to throw a little bit of fear and loathing and cold water on it. That's what we do.
And some of these things, will order things for you and track things and.
I kind of like that.
Right. But I was just had a thought. I could die in my house and be there for a month or two, and I'd still be paying my bills automatically, and
Sure, you could.
things would be showing up my doorstep that I didn't even,
Yeah, and
everything would be all automatic.
But
But then, how does your executor
that
know how
monitor,
to cancel all these automatic things?
you can program the monitor that you have, your heartbeat monitor and,
Oh, okay.
and your pacemaker,
Right,
to
when it's
actually
done,
cancel
it-
payments automatically.
Yeah, your Fitbit. If it quits moving for more than a day, then
yeah.
Yeah.
it calls the EMS.
So there is a
Call
group
this
of,
number.
of people in the
Yeah.
trade industry that are looking at the security side of it, and I'm glad because the electronic Mr. Gadgets are the ones that are trying to see if it all works.
Yeah.
But they have a group called the Internet of Things Village, and they were at DEF CON in Las Vegas this summer. And they found that this year that among the 21 different manufacturers that have flaws in their software, that there's 23 devices, there's 47 different things that they found that can go wrong. Now, if you think about that, I hope that the research and development guys working at the major companies have done a good job.
You hope so.
And so
Yeah.
that says, if you run a lock company,
Yeah.
and I don't know all the different names, but Slage comes to mind, and padlocks. There's a
Padlocks,
company
yeah.
called Master Padlock
Masters,
that
yeah.
has
Master Lock.
a lock. I think we would probably trust those.
Well,
And-
those are the names that we've known and grown up for years.
I guess
Okay.
that's,
So that's
a
yeah.
Bluetooth.
That's
That one's a Bluetooth as well. So that
And you unlock this with your phone instead of putting in a combination.
or a key.
I'm gonna go to my locker in school, and I'm gonna walk by, and as I come towards my locker, my lock's gonna open up for me.
Unlock automatically.
And then all the big kids are going to push me in my locker and lock me in.
Right.
But as long as you still got your phone on,
Phone,
then
yeah.
it doesn't lock.
Right.
As long as they don't switch locks.
Yeah, it'll change locks or yeah.
But I think it is kind of neat.
It is,
To
yeah,
me,
I
that's
agree.
very appealing. If I knew that somebody was coming to check on the house, take care of the dog,
Yep.
I would want the door to unlock for them.
Yep.
I would want the camera to watch what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would like to have them leave, and then have the house locked up behind them.
Yep.
I just don't want somebody to unlock the house and walk out with the flat panel and turn off the camera
Right.
and stuff like that. And I guess I'm not ready for things yet. I love this little item. We talked about having keys lost and being able to find your phone when you've lost it. These little tags can be affixed to things. Put it on your dog. Put it on things that you lose, your key ring.
And what picks up the signal? Or what's the signal set?
Well, they're programmed, and I would imagine, like a GPS, they do go to a higher level to get tracked.
Like Find My Phone. It
Like-
can tell
yeah.
me.
Like a Find My Phone.
Wonder how big those are physically.
Oh,
You think they're just little guys,
they're
or
bigger
are they,
than like $1? I
you
mean,
think, a coin?
coin. Right.
Let's go to number 10. There's another picture of some things. These are called peanuts.
Peanuts.
We'll get to peanuts in a second. And there's another
And this
view.
is the
There's
same
another
as-
view of peanuts.
That's the same as this one.
Yep, those are things that you can program yourself.
Uh-huh.
But the ones that you can tag onto devices, that is about the size of a keyring fob.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to
So-
say those look really like fobs.
So
like
the
you'd
little
unlock a lock.
opening on that is probably where you would put a
Probably
battery
battery.
in, like
Yeah.
like we're familiar with.
Right.
Yeah.
So that gives you a little bit of size perspective. Yes, you will register it. You will have an app. The app knows how to find it. And these are sold by StalkMyGirlfriend.com, because that's the creepy part of it.
Really?
It's
strange,
okay
yeah.
if you want to find your keys.
Yeah.
But what if somebody slips one of those?
Into somebody else's
Like
purse
that.
or car or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah. If you were wanting to track people, that'd be an easy way to do it.
Yeah. Did you hear the story about the guy that said he was going to go on a fishing trip because his boss wanted him to go? And he said to his wife, "I want you to pack my blue silk pajamas."
Uh-huh.
And she goes, "Okay." And he comes back in a week and he goes, "God, it was a wonderful time, but you forgot to pack my blue, silk pajamas." And she says, "I put them in your fishing kit."
Oh, in the fishing
Yeah,
kit.
in the fishing
yeah,
kit.
that he
So,
never opened.
You could put these in somebody's car and know where they are. You could do a lot of things, and that is kind of creepy to me. But
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think the nice one is the ones that are coming out from companies like Amazon. And
The ordering
Did you
ones.
say you had some already?
I don't. I actually want to try one. I really do want to try one.
So what's this do on the washer?
I just used the last scoop of my Tide, and I need to order some more.
So you just
And
press
so
that
you
button.
push the button, and it's
So
programmed.
it's not hooked to the washer and does anything
Nope.
with the washer.
This one's not. No.
It's just like those little peanuts and the key fobs.
Right.
But there's also a lot of other different brands that here's a chance for Glad and Tidies and Bounty and
I could really see this for mothers, for baby diapers and things like that.
I have some elderly in-laws, and they need things delivered to the house.
Yeah.
And so you can have this scheduled through Amazon Subscribe, and it's actually cheaper than starting up the car and driving. And in bad weather, I would love to give them a year's worth of some of the standard
That
things
would
that
be,
they
yeah.
need.
Yeah. Absolutely. Wintertime, that'd be awesome for certain places.
The wine closet is getting low. You
Yep.
can hit the button and you can have things delivered
Delivered,
like that.
yeah.
Right. I think it's a good time to talk about this because we've only got about 3 minutes or so. This is controls your home AC
It
system.
monitors your energy. The
Energy.
little
Is that-
clip-on
that's not your
thing to
thermostat?
the well, yeah, it's a thermostat.
Okay.
But the lower left is a clip that clips onto the energy, the big 220 line coming in. Here's one from a company called Sense, and it's monitoring both legs of your 220.
That's
This
what the
is
white
cool
things are,
because it learns all of the electrical devices in your home from their noise signature.
Wow.
So it says, this is what Tommy's bedroom light looks like, or this is what the
the
electric
Xbox,
curling
or-
iron.
yeah.
And so you not only know from a safety standpoint things that may have been left plugged in, but you can monitor all of your devices and see which ones are the big energy users.
So if I wanted to save a lot of money on my electric, then this one is going to be the one.
It might be just the one.
Yeah.
And then there are the sensors too. So you could have these, like the temperature one on the far left, and then you could have them in all sorts of rooms. You could put one in your freezer, know what temperature your freezer is, see what rooms are hot, which rooms are cold. I think there's a lot of promise in this, and I'm not going to throw a lot of bad news about this. Let's hope that this becomes one of the vendors that emerges.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, there are so many things that are good and bad. Hewlett Packard this week sent out the notice that the firmware upgrades to their printers will now prevent third-party toners and other ink cartridges to be used in there.
So you got to buy their
You
stuff
have to
or
buy
their.
HP toners only.
Yeah. Now I'm sure the other printer manufacturers have followed suit or
Oh, they
led the
will,
way.
yeah.
But it's going to limit the market for
Oh, yeah.
the companies that can
For
produce
third
these
parties,
things.
yeah.
But on one hand, there's cool stuff happening, and on the other hand, they're going to send out information that's going to limit your choices and your functionality.
Yep.
It's another month where cool things have happened, and I hope you'll keep sending in your requests for topics, because what do you think we should talk about next month? It's not quite Christmas.
It's not quite Christmas, but I really like this idea of these security devices and ordering devices. I'm sure there's more on that that we can discuss that would be an excellent Christmas gift in a way. So, I think you're talking
I'm counting
about,
on that.
Yes,
I'm counting on that.
so I think that might be a good follow-up
Oh, yeah.
to that. I really do. I think that would be a good follow-up for those.
Okay.
So
Well,
Guess that's all we have for
Yeah.
this week. I hope it's gone by very quickly for me.
really quick. Too
Bitcoin
quick.
and security and all kinds of stuff. So I hope it has been a enjoyable and informative show for you. And we'll see you next month on Tech Talk.